Inspirational Warren Buffett quotes about living a rich life. In the business world, the rearview mirror is always clearer than the windshield. Wall Street is the only place that people ride to in a Rolls-Royce to get advice from those who take the subway. Predicting rain doesn't count. Building arcs does. The first rule is not to lose. The second rule is not to forget the first rule. Risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. Chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken. Only when the tide goes out do you discover who's been swimming naked. Price is what you pay. Value is what you get. It's far better to buy a wonderful company at a fair price than a fair company at a wonderful price. Someone is sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. Warren Buffett quotes about business. Should you find yourself in a chronically leaking boat, energy devoted to changing vessels is likely to be more productive than energy devoted to patching leaks. I think that both parties should declare the debt limit as a political weapon of mass destruction which can't be used. It is silly to have a country with 237 years of building up its reputation, and then if people threaten to tear it down because they're not getting some other matter. The rich are always going to say that, just give us more money and we'll go out and spend more, and then it will all trickle down to the rest of you. But that has not worked in the last 10 years. And I hope the American public is catching on. The only way to get love is to be lovable. It's very irritating if you have a lot of money. You'd like to think you could write a check, I'll buy $1 million worth of love. But it doesn't work that way. The more you give love away, the more you get. Warren Buffett quotes about stocks and life. I would say the most satisfying thing actually is watching my 3 children each pick up on their own interests and work many more hours per week than most people that have jobs at trying to intelligently give away that money in fields that they particularly care about. When a management with a reputation for brilliance tackles a business with a reputation for bad economics, it is the reputation of the business that remains intact. I never attempt to make money on the stock market. I buy on the assumption that they could close the market the next day and not reopen it for 5 years. Quotes by Warren Buffett about success. There seems to be some perverse human characteristic that likes to make easy things difficult. I sent one email in my life. I sent it to Jeff Rakes at Microsoft, and it ended up in court in Minneapolis, so I am 1 for 1. People talk about this being an uncertain time. All time is uncertain. I mean, it was uncertain back in 2007. We just didn't know it was uncertain. It was uncertain on September 10, 2001. It was uncertain on October 18, 1987. You just didn't know it. Somebody once said that in looking for people to hire, you look for 3 qualities: integrity, intelligence, and energy. And if you don't have the first, the other 2 will kill you. You think about it, it's true. If you hire somebody without integrity, you really want them to be dumb and lazy. Honesty is a very expensive gift, don't expect it from cheap people. Someone's sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. If you're in the luckiest 1% of humanity, you owe it to the rest of humanity to think about the other 99%. Warren Buffett quotes about leadership. The most important thing to do if you find yourself in a hole is to stop digging. I insist on a lot of time being spent, almost every day, to just sit and think. That is very uncommon in American business. I read and think, so I do more reading and thinking, and make fewer impulse decisions than most people in business. I do it because I like this kind of life. Risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. There's class warfare, all right, but it's my class, the rich class, that's making war, and we're winning. There comes a time when you ought to start doing what you want. Take a job that you love. You will jump out of bed in the morning. I think you are out of your mind if you keep taking jobs that you don't like because you think it will look good on your resume. Isn't that a little like saving up sex for your old age? It takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. If you think about that, you'll do things differently. No matter how great the talent or efforts, some things just take time. More Warren Buffett quotes. Rule number 1, never lose money. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1. It's better to hang out with people better than you. Pick out associates whose behavior is better than yours and you'll drift in that direction. Should you find yourself in a chronically leaking boat, energy devoted to changing vessels is likely to be more productive than energy devoted to patching leaks. You never know who's swimming naked until the tide goes out. You can't produce a baby in 1 month by getting 9 women pregnant. You only have to do a very few things right in your life so long as you don't do too many things wrong. I always knew I was going to be rich. I don't think I ever doubted it for a minute. What an investor needs is the ability to correctly evaluate selected businesses. Note that word selected. You don't have to be an expert on every company or even many. You only have to be able to evaluate companies within your circle of competence. The size of that circle is not very important. Knowing its boundaries, however, is vital. I've seen more people fail because of liquor and leverage being borrowed money. You really don't need leverage in this world much. If you're smart, you're going to make a lot of money without borrowing. Warren Buffett quotes on money and success. The difference between successful people and really successful people is those really successful people say no to almost everything. I tell college students, when you get to be my age you will be successful if the people who you hope to have loved you, do love you. I will tell you how to become rich. Close the doors. Be fearful when others are greedy. Be greedy when others are fearful. It's far better to buy a wonderful company at a fair price than a fair company at a wonderful price. Thanks for watching my video. Subscribe to my channel.